Hello and welcome to today's monthly health tune-up. I do these almost every month and generally talking about a variety of different topics, always focusing on health. Today we're going to talk about stress, about a calm stress response, what we could do to support that stress response, particularly focusing on botanicals. Like you see here, this is a field, a glorious field of California poppies. I had the opportunity, I was working in the area, this is near San Diego. I was driving down from Los Angeles to San Diego. It was when the California super blooms were going on. The conditions were just right for the Cal poppies to blanket the hillsides. It was spectacular. As you see here, the flowers are closed. They're in the closed position. It's earlier in the morning. The sun hadn't hit these flowers. They hadn't opened up yet, but still just so glorious. And I was able to be there on my own, nobody else around, early enough in the morning to really enjoy that gorgeous sight. So I'm going to talk about California poppy, needless to say, in today's 15-minute webinar. Let's do this. Let's head on in. By the way, first off, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your participation every time. My name is Julie Dennis Fox. I'm the founder and formulator of Canna Joint Relief, Canna Joint Spray, Canna Relief, and various other products as well. And it is my honor and my pleasure to be here. I'm not a practitioner. I'm not here to treat, cure, or mitigate disease. I'm simply passing on information that's been useful for me in my life and my family and community, and hopefully for you as well. So if you are going to change your health protocol, I always recommend working with a qualified healthcare practitioner. So let's head on in. Let's head on into just a little snippet about stress. We all know about stress. We're old enough to have experienced it. And especially, we're in 2021 right now. We're still going through the pandemic and the effects of that. And as you know, it's a global phenomena. So we're all feeling the effects, whether, God forbid, we actually had COVID or somebody we know did or does, or we're just experiencing all of this like everybody is. We're stressed. It's been a very stressful time for most people that I know. So fight or flight, we get triggered into this chronic stress syndrome. We get triggered into fight or flight. It's a beautiful mechanism our bodies are designed with and we need. When there's danger, we're going to react. It's a fabulous mechanism within our bodies that helps us react to stressful situations. But when we're talking about this kind of chronic, low grade or high grade, constant hum of stress in our bodies, a lot of things happen, right? Our brain starts to trigger all these different chemicals. Our whole body actually starts to trigger a chemical response, a physiological response, shooting out adrenaline, cortisol, inflammatory markers. It really is quite an extraordinary event when we get blown into fight or flight a little too long. And like I mentioned, there are chemical triggers in our bodies, from cortisol to adrenaline and many more chemicals and reactions physiologically when we're thrown into these stressful situations. And like I mentioned, this is 2021 and many of us are experiencing this chronic hum of stress on a global level. So the effects in our bodies have been numerous. And you know this, like I say, we're all old enough in this virtual room to where we know some of these negative effects that stress has had on our bodies, on our minds, on our spirits. It's been hard. So, you know, life is going to be stressful, but it's been particularly stressful this last year or two. So fundamentally, this page, literally in my presentations, this page never changes. I'm always going to have it here because what's going to have the most impact, the greatest impact on our health is not the botanical I tell you about today. It's not this supplement that you're taking. It is a comprehensive approach. This is not rocket science. So we all know this, but it's sometimes a little elusive to hit all the high points here. Restorative sleep, nutritious diet, movement, time in nature, or any of those calming practices that you have in your tool belt. And then lastly, dietary supplementation to this comprehensive approach. Meanwhile, in regards to stress response, there are things that we can do, things that we could take beyond this comprehensive approach. And I'm just going to talk about what we call in herbalism simplers. As simple is a very simple herbal. It's not a formulation, it is one herb. Simplers, simple. This is lemon balm. You know, it may seem gentle and maybe a little bit of pixie dust or magic to it, but there are chemicals within this plant that actually do help calm us down. I just read some studies recently. I'm working with the American Botanical Council reviewing research on lemon balm. And it's quite extraordinary. This beautiful lemon scented plant in the mint family can actually trigger reactions in our bodies that help calm us down. A simple lemon balm, very easy to grow. Like I say, it's in the mint family. So anybody who has grown mint in their gardens knows that it's a super easy plant to grow. It's quite prolific, and a very gentle tea or water infusion with some consistency throughout the days and perhaps weeks, you will notice those calming effects of lemon balm. Let's talk about hops, another very simple herb, so to speak, but very deep reactions in our bodies. In fact, one of the things I recently found out about hops is that it may help support a calm stress response, in part by its anti-inflammatory, potential anti-inflammatory actions. In fact, that is one of the reasons why I included it in Canna Joint Relief. It calms potentially, according to the emerging research, it calms inflammation. It's not why I'm talking about it today. It's a very, like lemon balm, a very easy plant to grow. You see the florets here on this growing, beautiful, viney plant. It vines, it creeps up, it loves to creep up. So it's fantastic if you have a section in your garden that will allow for prolific growth. But these strobiles, as they're called, the little florets, if you're to pick those off and put them into a water or tea infusion, again, very calming. We know that hops is very calming. It helps relax us. It's a fantastic herb to use at night for a gentle calming action, as it has been used for hundreds of years by humans. And yes, this is the hops that you make beer from. Fermented hops creates a type of beer, but you needn't go so far as to ferment it even. Very simple tea or water infusion, especially at night, I find it very calming, very relaxing. California poppy, it would be remiss of me if I were not to mention California poppy, one of my favorites. And the poppy family actually has chemicals in it called alkaloids. A lot of the potent medicines come from the alkaloids. Caffeine is an alkaloid, morphine is an alkaloid. So these alkaloids can be quite potent. Now, this is not the Asian poppy, where unfortunately we get very heavy drugs from, like heroin. This is not the Asian poppy. This is the California poppy. It's a lot gentler than those Asian poppies, but still has a soporific effect, that effect that calms us down. And in part, it is due to these alkaloids found within the plant. And those alkaloids connect with the GABA receptors in our brain, the inhibitory receptors in our brain, inhibiting our anxiety, calming our anxiety. Beautiful, simple plant to start incorporating. And certainly if you live in California, you can grow Cal poppy. Well, you could grow Cal poppy in a lot of different climates and regions. But if you are to grow it, start with the seeds. It does take a while for them to propagate and actually start to generate the flowers and the roots and the rest of the beautiful plant, but start with seeds and eventually they do become quite prolific. Wild oats. You know, this is another plant that grows almost worldwide. You see here, it is late spring in the region I live in right now, near the Lake Tahoe area. And the poppies are beautiful for calming us down, in part because, oats, these are wild oats. The oats are beautiful for calming us down, in part because they're so high in minerals. No, you're not going to get 1,000 milligrams of magnesium or 400 milligrams of calcium or anything like that. But when we start to incorporate a plant like this that does have a natural source of minerals, which is particularly nourishing to our nerves, very easy to incorporate, very easy to harvest. In fact, the best time to harvest wild oats, and I'm sure a lot of you who are watching the live Facebook feed we have going right now, or on the Zoom call, a lot of you live actually in California. So find your field, harvest it sustainably in the early spring when the little seed pods emit. If you were to squish them between your fingers, those little seed pods emit a little milky white substance. That's when you want to harvest. That's when they're at their peak for their ability to relax us, to calm us down. Just dry those seed pods and use them throughout the year. And or one of my favorites, Herb Farm oat seed. Again, Herb Farm is one of my favorites. They actually use the best part of the plant, the seeds. So I harvest them and I use the supplement as well, knowing how beneficial they are to my nerves. A couple essential oils I wanted to bring up here: lavender, clary sage, even chamomile essential oil with that azulene in it. Even just smelling it can help calm us down. These have been used in this way for hundreds of years by humans, so we know they work according to empirical knowledge, and I know they work because I use them in this way. The essential oils of lavender, clary sage, particularly of the sages, the clary, and chamomile. Very, very simple. I had to talk about cannabis. You know, for some people, cannabis is an anxiolytic. It actually inspires and instigates anxiety. For others, for many others, it actually may help calm us down. So I needed to just pop this one in there as we start to head towards the end of our webinar today. But cannabis has been used throughout the ages. Here in the top left of my screen, you see from the Sanskrit written on hemp paper thousands and thousands of years ago. You see in the bottom left, the Ebers Papyrus. It's talking about the usage of hemp plants, again, thousands of years old, talking about the usage of the hemp seed, the hemp oil, the fiber, the ability to calm us down, used in shamanism. So it's been all over the map, this cannabis plant, including in traditional Chinese herbalism, as well as in our own American herbal pharmacopoeia, cannabis. Here it's growing in Kentucky before it was outlawed. Here it was from the American Druggist Syndicate, cannabis indica. I believe this was likely used to help people sleep or inspire appetite, perhaps. And then we had the war on drugs emerge. This is an early iteration of that war on drugs, and cannabis was included in that, but it's back. And yes, hemp and marijuana are both cannabis plants. Marijuana is high in THC, hemp is not. So if you're somebody who does like cannabis and you like that high feeling, then go to your local dispensary or grow your own if you can legally do so, or grow your own hemp if you do not like that high THC feeling. Hemp generally is a lot lower, but still has some of that calmative effect. And what are my product options? There are a lot of product options out there. I've been in this dietary supplement industry for decades, and I've narrowed it down to my favorites. From the inside out, I know these companies, and I know they are some of the highest quality botanical dietary supplements you could find in a retail store. Herb Farm, as I mentioned already, and I popped in the adrenal support because if we are experiencing undue stress, then it's tapping into our healthy adrenals and perhaps weakening them through time. And if there's a chronic stress situation. So adrenal support, Herb Farm, traditional medicinals, a simple tea, very beneficial, chamomile and lavender. Holy Basil by Planetary Herbals, another company that I really love. Holy Basil, we also know as Tulsi, highly regarded in Ayurveda in India, commonly grown throughout the Indian continent. And holy basil also, with its ability to help us adapt to stress and calm us down, potentially reducing cortisol in that process. So there it is. There's a snapshot. Simple, easy things to incorporate. Don't forget that holistic lifestyle. It really is going to matter the most. And for your complimentary Canna Joint Relief, please email me. Customer service at cannajointrelief.com. Let me know where you want me to send that sample to. I will get it right out to you. And also, if you know others who would like to listen to this and receive this sample as well, I will pop this up on the YouTube station, my own personal YouTube station, Julie Dennis Fox. Look for it there, watch it there, and again, reach out to me for your complimentary product. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a calm and peaceful fall season and winter. And as we head into the end of 2021, I don't know about you, but I'm ready. I am ready for 2022 and to wrap this up. So thank you again for your participation, and I will see you for next month's Healthy Tune-Up. Thank you. Have a fantastic afternoon.